stream, and so we are preparing to live stream. If you have the notification, kindly click OK. So we continue. As earlier mentioned, we have Josiah here, as usual, helping us interpret to anyone in our deaf community or in our community who is deaf or has a hearing impairment, sorry. Anyone who has a hearing impairment and would need assistance in form of communication. So yes, it's also another form of communication using your hand. So Josiah, thank you for being here for us. And for today, I mentioned that it's a special edition. That's how come we are having 3 panelists join us. I thank you all once again for being here. I can see Auntie Baba's video is on. Go Auntie Baba. I can also see that Jacinta is here. Hello. Jacinta, can I see your face, please? Yay, someone has. Okay, please, if you have a question, comment, concern, whatsoever, you can send us a message in our chat box and then we would discuss it. Currently, we are not asking questions now. We are just going to introduce our guest to you before we would ask questions and things later. Hi, Jacinta. Okay. Thank you for turning it on, madam. How are you?
We are doing well, Ada. And
That's
you?
good. That's good, if we're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so please let me just say this before we continue. As you all know, Mission Pediatrics is geared towards helping everyone get to have more. How do we help each other? How do we assist ourselves? So with this, we have come up with something new for our community, our virtual community, let me put it in that sense. And what's the new thing? That's what we call the priority care booking. So for all of you on our social media handles or on our community platform, we have this package for you where you tend to have a discount in service. So we would share a link to you and you can click on it once you are on our website on our social media platforms and community. We'll share the link over here so you can click on it, use it for your bookings, and you would enjoy that discount. Please make use of it. The link will be shared very soon. I know Godfred will be sharing the link, so yes. Now, let me go introduce our guest that we have for this evening. I am going to start off with the parents, and the parents would finish off with Auntie Baba, the educator. So yes, you saw three guests or 3 panelists, and we have one in the person of Jacinta Happy Suleimana. She is an accomplished administrative and HR executive who has over 10 years of experience working in the human resource field. She is geared towards driving organizations to get to their best or their potential efficiency by creating positive workplace environments or cultures that would help each and every individual in that institution achieve the best. Jacinta has helped various institutions like the Institute of Public Relations, Ghana, and with that association, she's played several roles. She's also worked in the media space. So she's worked with Universal Multimedia Company. That is where Ahoto FM. So yes, Ahoto gave Mission Pediatrics the platform to come help people get to understand what autism spectrum disorder is. So she works there also, and she facilitated this for us. Aside that, she also has a passion for excellence in planning and executing things related to staff and their welfare. So yes, her field is into the HR and all that. But she also is a parent who has a child on the spectrum. So today she is not here on the grounds of HR. No, she is here on the grounds of helping us understand what is happening at home and what we all can learn from each other. Okay, so that is Jacinta. Now we move on to our next mom, Ifwa. So Ifwa Pokwa, one is in sales, sorry, one is in HR, the other is in sales. So she's a sales executive at Mawel Technologies, and they provide internet services for people. Aside that, she also has an MBA in general management. She is a mother of two boys, two strong boys, and one of them is on the spectrum. So today she's not here on the grounds of sales, no, but she is here on the grounds of being a parent who has a child also on the spectrum. So that's how come we get to have two parents. Now here comes our educator, Auntie Baba, as we always call her. So Auntie Baba is, pardon me if I keep calling her Auntie Baba because that is how I call her. But she is actually Mrs. Bridget Jewel Baba Angel. That is her full name. So if you hear me calling her Auntie Baba, her full name is Mrs. Jewel Bridget. I swapped, sorry, Mrs. Bridget Jewel Baba Angel. And she is a seasoned autism advocate. She is also a social entrepreneur and the founder of Hope Setters Autism Center. They are located in Tema. She has 16 good years in the experience of supporting children who are living with ASD and persons with other disabilities also. She's worked with diverse international organizations, local organizations, volunteered at several places also. She's worked with lots of therapists, caregivers, a whole lot. And in all, she's worked with over 200 people who live with autism in Ghana. Auntie Baba, I know she is very passionate about the well-being of people with needs or with disability. As such, she is geared towards helping society get to learn more, align themselves to the UN goals, especially the goal 3 that talks about the good health and well-being. In addition to the goal 4, that's how come she is an educator also, giving quality education. And the goal 10, reducing inequalities. She holds educational credentials in secretariatship and other advanced trainings and things in the field of autism and special needs care. So, yes, as the director of Hope Setters, this year, she is here to help us understand. And yes, Auntie Baba is also standing in as a consultant in terms of education. So please, my able panelists, you are all welcome.
Thank you.
You can unmute yourselves.
Thank you.
Today, it's a discussion. So it is not going to be our usual one of lecture, 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 lecture. No, or talk, 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 talk. Today, they get to share, they get to tell us things. So I'm going to start off with the parents. So parents, please help me understand. So you can give us you don't necessarily need your child's name, but let's start off with how did you get to know your child is on the spectrum? Who would like to set the ball rolling? Would there be a Auntie Eva, your mic is unmuted, so please, you can start for us.
All right. Thank you, Ida. Uh, at first, I didn't know about anything about autism, and I didn't have any idea as he was growing well. He reached all his milestones. So during the COVID time, we were in the house. So we would go out and play. Then there was a nurse around. The nurse said, "Oh, what's your son's name?" I said, "Oh, I mentioned his name." And then she tried calling him severally. He wouldn't respond. He would go and stand at his back and clap. Still, he wouldn't respond. He was just focused on what he was doing. Then later, when we went home, she called me that no, I think there is something wrong with your son. And I told her that, oh, they said he's a boy, he will talk later. So they said, no, I should not listen to what they are saying. I should take him to the hospital. So she works at Achimota Hospital. So that was where we first started. So we went to Achimota. The pediatrician there assessed him and then said we should go and do hearing test at Kolebu. So we went to do the hearing assessment at Kolebu. Then I saw on the folder when they told me I should do speech. I didn't know what was happening because he told me that, oh, he can hear. It just speech small and then he will be fine. I said, okay. So we went to speech, we started. I was pregnant with my second child, so going to Kolebu wasn't a comfortable thing for me. We went for some time, and to be frank, when I saw autism spectrum disorder, I said, no, that's not my son. He will get out of it. So I stopped. We didn't go to Kolebu again. I went home. I traveled and gave birth to my second child. So we're back in Accra. He got sick. We took him to a clinic. Then the doctor, nobody could even, he will not even stand still for you to take his vitals. So when we got to the doctor's place, the doctor said, no, you have to take your son. So she gave us a referral to missions. Then we booked, then we went to missions, and then that was when Dr. Mabel told us, asked me a lot of questions. And then after the questions, she told me what was wrong with my son. So that was how I got to know it. Although after seeing it in his booklet in Kolebu, I saw it, but I left it. It was after 1.5 years that we came back to missions. That was when I realized that this thing is actually true. That was how I got to know that he is on the spectrum. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, Ifya. I keep calling you Ifya. Ifwa. Sorry about that. Jacinta, please, can you share with us how you also got to hear, learn, help us?
Okay. So good evening, everybody, and thanks for the opportunity to share my experiences with other parents as well on this platform.
Unfortunately, we can't see you. Sorry, Jacinta, but we can see you.
Oh, okay. Let me just a minute. Okay, just that my lightning system here isn't good enough, but I hope you can manage this. I don't know if this is okay.
This is better. Thank you. At least we
All
get to
right.
see the face behind the
Yes.
voice.
Okay. So for me, I got to know because I had my own concerns. I'm one person who doesn't like to listen to what other people say. So when I have concerns and my intuition tells me act on it, immediately I act on it. So I think Jay was around 2.5 years, almost 3. I had concerns with the fact that he wasn't talking. So I kept talking about it. I kept asking some grown up women because I was a first time mom. So I didn't have any motherly experience. So I kept asking these grown up women, oh, like my son is still not talking. Oh, don't worry, he's a boy. He will get out of it. But my inquisitiveness would not allow me to take that. So I decided to do something about it. And in doing something about it, I think he had these rashes in his head. So I decided to take him to the police hospital. So on one of those visits, I decided to chip this other aspect of it to the doctor who saw it. I think he saw a pediatrician at the police hospital. So I told him that, look, this is the reason why I'm here. I'm here because there are these rashes in my son's head. But then I also have a concern about the fact that my son isn't talking yet because I've seen children of his age, even younger than him, saying words and things, but it looks like mine is still not talking, and I'm a bit concerned. So that was when he also started asking me to do certain things. So he asked me to come back home, take video shots of what Jay will be doing during the day, and then bring it back. But then, unfortunately for me, I didn't get to take the videos because he wouldn't allow you to take videos of him. So I took rather audios, recordings of what he's usually doing or the sounds he's making when he's at home. And when I took it back, the doctor said, no, this wouldn't help. So you know what? Rather, I would let you go do a hearing test. So I was referred to do a hearing test. And the hearing test, I think I did it at Haas Hearing Center in around North Industrial area. So after doing the hearing test, I was told, oh, his hearing is perfect, it's fine. But then you need to see someone. And I think I had to see one Dr. Brema or something. I think he's the head of the pediatric unit at the police hospital. And so he had, when he stepped in, I felt like, okay, why? What's happening? Because um, I thought it was something that you can handle. Then he said, no, I have to talk to his superior. And I said, okay. So when I got there, then the doctor started like, oh, you see, it's nothing. He will grow and he will become someone in future. And I was like, okay, wait, what's happening here? Who was happening? Like, what are you suspecting? Then he said, okay, we are suspecting that your son might be on the autism spectrum. But because it's not my specialty, I would want to refer you to someone so that the person can do a proper diagnosis. And there we were sent to Kolebu. That day I cried because like I was like, okay, everybody has a child, everybody has expectations. I didn't expect to hear this. So I cried. And I had also lost my auntie at the same time. So it was a lot of emotions going on. But then I had to calm down, go home, and see how best I can go to Kolebu. So I got to Kolebu, and immediately it looks like they started a speech therapy session. Then COVID came. So the moment COVID came, there was no sessions to Kolebu again. So I was there one day, and then a cousin of mine told me that, look, Happy, whilst we are waiting for this whole Kolebu thing, don't you think we should take further steps to look for other solutions? So when she mentioned, then she mentioned Mission Pediatrics. So I said, okay, I'm open to that because I'm looking for someone who would tell me that what police hospital told me wasn't true and that they made a mistake. So this isn't it. So we went to Mission. We got there. We had the opportunity to see Dr. Mabel. We spoke a lot. She asked us a lot of questions and all that. And then at the end of the day, what I didn't want to hear was still what I heard, which is Jaden is on the autism spectrum. And this was how we found out.
Thank you for sharing that, Jacinta. I know it's we're taking you people back down memory lane. Pardon us for that, but we need to help others also get to understand where you started, and then we see how the journey has been. So, Auntie Baba, as an educator, parents have shared how they first get to hear of it. Now, in coming to you and school, how do parents react when they come with their kids? What's their first impression? What have you gathered so far? Please help us know how they feel and all that.
Thank you so much, Ida, and thank you everybody for coming. So, as an educator, before parents get to me, they would have had their diagnosis, most of them.
Yeah.
But then they come and they realize that, okay, so I'm not alone on this journey. There are other children at the center. They come and, of course, they meet other children at the center. There are two ways to that. People think that some of the parents feel that because they have a diagnosis when their kids were very young, it means they might grow out of it. So when they come and they see older students on the spectrum, then they are like, oh, okay, so my child can go as far as this and still have challenges of autism. I have some of them that break down, cry. I give them the shoulder to cry on, and I give them all the assurance. I take them through all the success stories that we have. Of course, I make them understand that we don't have any magic wand, but then gradually we are going to see progress, tiny, tiny, tiny bit, depending on the child that we are dealing with and the severity of how the child is affected with autism or every disability for that matter. So sometimes I have issues like that. Sometimes I have divided parents. The man has accepted, the wife won't hear anything of it. The other time, the wife has accepted, the man won't hear anything of it. So sometimes I have to try and get the two of them together, call some of them on phone, try to explain things to them. So I have to go through all those kind of counseling with them. And then once I'm able to give them the assurance that it is well, I mean, there's hope for the future, then I get them to relax a bit. It's not like in a day or two. It depends on the individual, but then it gets better as the child starts speaking.
Auntie Baba has just touched base on something, family. So now let me ask the parents, how has it been like family acceptance? What did you go through? What are you going through? Please share with us. How has it been like with family? Ifwa, please.
Mm. So either with the family acceptance, nobody wants in our kind of society, nobody wants such kids to be around them. So it wasn't an easy thing. They know that your child is not talking, but they don't really know exactly what you are dealing with. And you are not able to explain it to them because they don't really, you will talk and they don't get it. So my family, they know my son is not talking, but they don't really know that it is something like autism. When I even mention autism, they wouldn't even understand. Maybe with now that we are doing a lot of advocacy, like what Aunt Mary has been doing, then somebody will call you and say that, oh, I saw Aunt Mary what she was doing. Is it like how your son is? Then, like, because of those awareness, people are now understanding the autism. But before, when you talk about it, they don't even understand. So I'll just tell them, he's not talking. But I wouldn't tell you exactly what I'm dealing with. So for the first for the first few years, I was dealing with it alone because I didn't know how to explain it to people to understand exactly what I was going. Like Auntie Baba was saying, the parents, one of them will accept early, then the other one will have to warm up. So when, like I said before, I got to know like 1.5 years earlier before we got to missions. So I was aware of it, but I didn't accept it. I thought that it is something we can pray out of it. That was what I thought that, oh, this thing is like normal disease, you can pray out of it and all that. So when I later found out that no, this is something I have to deal with it, I quickly snap out of my denial. And then, but my husband, he has warmed up to it. It wasn't like he has to warm up. I had to do a lot of talking, explanation. I will send him links that read about it, so that you know exactly what we are dealing with. So that is how it has been with us. I don't really go into details what we are dealing with unless somebody gets close, then I'll open up because trying to open up, they don't really understand. Yeah.
Mm, okay. So that has been it on your side in terms of family.
Yeah.
So let me ask Jacinta, has it
Yes.
been the same?
For my side, I think that I was fortunate to have people who understood the condition. So my elder sister, like this, she already, when I told her, she said, Happy, it's not a big deal if you were on my side, but it's because you are in Ghana, that's why it's a big deal for you. But it's not something that you should say, oh, the world has come to an end or something. So for my side, I can say, even though I didn't have a partner who was going to stand and support me at the time, but I can say the family support was there. Yes, I can say the family. Just that people you live with, you like Auntie Efua said, how do you explain? How do you let them understand what autism is in simple language or in simple terms? How do you explain? Because maybe these are people you speak to every day or vernacular, like any other language with. So, how do you explain for them to understand that this is the situation? So, you just say, oh, on casa, and then that's just about it. So, you can move on. But with time, for people who showed interest or wanted to really support you, when you explain to them, they go reading or searching more information about it. Yes.
Okay. So, Auntie Baba, I'm coming to
Yes,
you.
Rafika.
In dealing with the parents that you've worked with, you are working with, you mentioned earlier that sometimes it's not easy. They tend to cry. They may lean on your shoulder for support for some time and all that. How easily or how quickly are they, or how quick are they to come to an understanding and to want to seek for support? How has it been like from your side?
Thank you. So it depends on the individual, like I said earlier. Some parents immediately understand that, well, or accept that this is the situation, and so then they come in for support for their children. Others, it takes a long time, but usually because one of them would have understood and have accepted, then they can come in for support. While gradually we give the other partner time to be able to leave the space of denial and come to acceptance. And then, meanwhile, the support will still be going on for the child. There are some people who would go away for a long while, go and roam, go to take the children to mainstream school without support, and thinking once they are able to mingle with other children in the school, they can quickly pick up social skills and speech. And so some of them would just go round, and come back to us, which by that time they would have realized that it looks like they need that extra support at the center of treatment.
Okay. So then it means it's not the same for all parents. You can have
No, it's
one
different.
exactly. Sometimes you may have a child or you may have a parent who would easily accept and would want to seek support for the child. And then we could even have some who would go for years before coming back for the help that they need. So let me ask, is support important? We usually call it intervention. Is it important to seek for
It's
intervention? Because that's one thing that
so
lots of parents do ask.
it's so important, Ida. So important. I mean, if parents understand that their children on the autism spectrum won't pick up some things like every other child or a neurotypical child will pick up, then they would understand that giving them intervention is critical because we have to be intentional about teaching them everything step by step. Unlike our other children who can just pick it up as they're growing, our children are not like that. And so, how are they going to get that? Going to pick that up unless somebody intentionally takes them through the steps, and that's how most of our children learn. So
That's true.
we cannot just leave them and think that they can just pick up speech, they can just pick up motor skills and move on like that. No, we have to be intentional about it.
That is so true. And I think that's the reason why Zara has her hand up. She wants to say something. Zara is one of our speech therapists and she wants to share. Zara, please go on.
All right, thank you so much, Ida, and thank you so much to our participants and everyone on this platform. So I just want to share an experience, a research I did. It's not directly linked to autism, but how the family support system can actually contribute to the rehabilitation process of individuals. So in my master's research, I actually conducted my research was focused on persons with aphasia, those who had acquired language disorders. And I realized that most of them who received their recovery had a family support system. So I found out that there were different family support systems that were out there. Some were emotional support system, some were financial support system. There was a physical support system. There was the spiritual support system. There are about 7 different support systems that were there. And each of them had received theirs differently. And I noticed that although persons in my study I found out that although all these support groups or support systems were there, especially financial, people didn't really look out for the financial. They preferred more of the emotional and physical support systems more than the financial support system. But in general, the family support system, even without therapy, led to the rehabilitation process of persons with aphasia. For a period, I've come to see how so much of family support system contribute to the recovery process of some children on the spectrum. So this is just a little bit I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you, Zara. So yes, support is crucial. Intervention is keen. Be it all the various types of support that we can give. And I'm going to read out, yes, today we are not following the structure that we usually follow. So please understand us because it's a special edition. Ophelia has written something out, and I would like to read it now before I come back to one key thing that both Zara and Auntie Baba mentioned. Ophelia Mahama says that I told people that just as neurotypical kids are taught how to read and write, etc., likewise, my child will have to be taught how to communicate and socialize with people and her environment properly. Ophelia, you said it all. Please,
Yeah.
parents, what do you also say concerning Ophelia's comment? As being a
So,
means of she using it to explain to people how her child is. Please, please go ahead.
So Ophelia is right. You have to teach them everything. They are not able to pick up certain things just like our typical kids. So just like his brother is able to do a lot of things at his age, 4 years, and he will be 7 very soon. So when you look at 7 and 4, you expect the senior one to be doing a lot of stuff. People, why are you holding your first son and leaving the little one? Then I'll just look at them and not say anything. You have to teach him everything. He is not able to do most of the things that you expect your typical kids to do. So everything, whatever he eats, his dressing, think about anything. You have to teach him because he
He's
wouldn't
still
be
a
able to,
neurotypical child.
no, he
Good.
wouldn't be able to pick it up. Just eating apple alone, just a common apple. Your child can pick up apple and eat apple. You have to teach him how to eat apple. Chew and not bring out the chaff, but chew and swallow everything. So as
Mhm.
for them, you have to support them every way. You have to support.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in using what Ophelia uses, saying because yes, every child needs to learn how to read and how to write, but it's not everyone who knows how to even read it and write it. That's why we all send our kids to school, aside the social aspect. So then, if a neurotypical child needs to be taught this, what about a neurodiverse child? That's something we need to think about. That's something it's so true. So true. Okay, so I see Sir Jeremy has his hand up. Okay, so before that, Ophelia had a hand up. It means you don't want my parents to talk. Today, people want to say everything. And Ophelia, please share with us. And then when you are done, we'll listen to Sir Jeremy, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So I'm also a parent with a child on the spectrum. And I had to come up with an explanation for people when they ask me, oh, why is your child behaving this way? Or when family comes around. And I was trying everything possible, but they didn't want, I don't know, not that they didn't want, but they couldn't grasp the concept of autism. So I told them, it's not communicable. It's just that the child experiences her environment differently from how typical kids or typical human beings will experience their environment. So a typical child will pick up language as they grow along, but my child will have to be given speech therapy. So I just use that as an explanation, the easiest explanation I could give them at that time. You see, so that was how come I had to form my own way of explaining it to family for them to be able to understand. Because at times when you take children, or if you take your child on the spectrum and to maybe places, parties or something, some people who are not really in tune with what is happening or are not abreast with what autism is, there's been instances you even when they even serve your child or they serve you something, and then you take the cup or glass or whatever, when they go on your blind side, can't even trash it because in their mind they think, oh, it's communicable. Maybe my child this. If a child, but if the child, the person, or if the people know that this thing is not communicable, it's not like you can like a parent was saying, you can pray out of it. It's something that lives in that. It's something that the child it's more has to do with socialization challenges and communication and how the child or the person experiences the world. So that's how come I came up with that explanation for people to understand. Thank you.
Thank you, Ophelia. Thank you for sharing that with us. I'm grateful. Sir Benjamin, you want to say something before we continue with our hey, sorry, Sir Jeremy.
All right, so good evening. Forgive me if my question is not directly linked to this, but when one of our resource person was speaking, the comparison between the 4-year-old and the 7-year-old, and why the people around they didn't understand why you should hold the 7-year-old instead of the 4-year-old. My question is, how do we support the example, the 4-year-old, or people like siblings who are in that situation? Sometimes I feel I have a kid diagnosed of ADHD. Sometimes I feel that there is too much pressure on the neurotypical one, who, for instance, my 9-year-old. I feel she has to assume a lot of responsibility that ordinarily should have gone to the eldest one when it comes to taking care of the 3-year-old sister. If you want to send somebody, ideally it is the eldest, the 12-year-old, but in this case he cannot be. How do we support siblings that are in that kind of situation so that they themselves also do not burn out, they don't get frustrated? Because sometimes I personally feel for the 9-year-old that it appears that he is assumed so much responsibility that ordinarily maybe he shouldn't have. I just want some guidance if anybody has the experience to share. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
So please kindly hold on for me. Now you have changed my route, but we'll still come back to it. Or let me ask my panelists, would you people want to talk on it before?
Yes, Ida. Yes, Ida.
Auntie Baba, please go ahead.
Yes. So I think that he's very right. But you see, it's unfortunate that it happens like that. Siblings need counseling themselves.
Yeah.
They need to understand because when it comes to autism or it comes to special needs, it's the whole family affair.
Mm-hmm.
So siblings have to understand, and it happens most of the time that they need to resume or assume that kind of responsibility for their older siblings or younger siblings for that matter, especially when the siblings are older than them. They have to kind of grow past them and to be able to take care of them. It is something that is natural. It comes natural because if the whole family understands that this person or this family member has issues, then it's a whole family thing. Because listen, if the parents that would leave the world right now, it becomes the responsibility of the siblings.
Yeah.
So from the very onset, they have to accept. It's just that parents also have to be intentional about making time for the other sibling who doesn't have special needs. Because usually all the attention is given to the child that has special needs, and then the siblings lack. So we have to really kind of know, parents have to know how they have to divide or share the timing and make sure that this one too feels that I'm being heard, I'm being given the equal attention, not as much as my brother or sister, but then
Yeah.
I also have some, and they need counseling, and we need to give them the space to talk. You know, in Ghana, we don't really care about what children are saying. It is what the
Mhm.
parents are saying. Don't ask questions. Do you understand? But then we also need to let them be able to come up and tell us how they feel as siblings because they also go through stigmatization in their various settings in school and other social places.
That's so true. So, yes, just as Auntie Baba said, it's a whole family affair. Sometimes it's very difficult for you to even explain to the child. You may not even have the right words to say to the child. You may not know what to say to the child. You are confused. But that's when there is a need for us to also seek support. That's why we offer family counseling sessions. With this, the whole family goes for support. It is not one that is made or it is aligned to an extent that it's only you, this person who is facing this challenge, so then deal with it. Or don't you see that your sister or your brother needs help? Why aren't you helping? The kids have their questions, they have their concerns. They don't also know what to do, just as you, the parent, are confused. So please reach out. We would help you find how best to help your child. Family counseling sessions are open to anyone and everyone. You can contact Mission Pediatrics for such also, and we would help you. Okay, so then I had a concern in terms of I remember when Ifa was talking, she made mention that at a point she was praying that it goes because this one, dear. And then Jacinta also mentions that she was also, yes, having faith that at least this one, it shouldn't come to me. But in the end, they sought for second opinion, and it was the same thing. Spiritual matters and autism. Please, do we just pray autism out and then autism is out? Is it like that? Let's help those who are also thinking that probably we can pray autism out. So just as we are in the month of autism awareness, let's help them understand. Do we pray autism out? Please, who would like to start?
Um, I would like to take this one. I would like to start.
Jacinta,
So,
go ahead.
I believe in the power of prayer, and so I believe that on this journey, in as much as we need external support and professional support, we equally need God's support on this journey because
Mm.
it can take a whole lot out of you. that would make you want to doubt whether even God's existence, because we believe that children are gifts from God. And so why would God make a mistake when it was my turn to give a child? So yes, we want all the support, but we also need God's support in this journey. But then, whilst we are seeking God's face in helping our children become better than they are doing, we also have to not forget to do what is expected of us in terms of seeking professional help. I think in somewhere in the Bible it states that for lack of knowledge, my people perish. And so, for lack of knowledge on autism and what to do, we end up perishing in the process. So, I would say that yes, we may not be able to physically pray it out, but we can still seek the face of God in this journey and asking God to help us see a clearer way and where to go with our children and how to support them in the process.
Okay, thank you, Jacinta. What do you also say? Edward?
So, Ida, we don't just pray autism out. Actually, we are custodian of the kids God has blessed us with. So I believe that when you get a new job, your employers give you the tools to work with. So when I realized that you can't just pray it out, but it is an assignment that God has given you, you are to take care of the gift that He has given you. So what God actually does is to help you through. So you seek the support, you seek the help. I have a mantra that as a parent, I'll do what I have to do and let God do what He has to do, and let the therapists also do what they have to do. All of us are on a journey. So the child is for me, but it's for all of us. God has to do what He has to do. What I have to do, I have to do. I don't have to leave it for God to do it. What the therapist has to do, I also allow them to do it. When I got that understanding, it helped me a lot to like know what to do for my child. So at first, we ask for if we want to go into the God thing, we won't finish because the prayer comes and the things that people think that when you do it, your child will talk. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to pray to God to give you the strength, and God will show you the way. God will give you guidance, and God will bring people in your life that will support you through. I think that is what God does for us, not to take the autism away, but actually guide you through. Because looking at our journey, it's been God that has supported us till we are here. Yeah.
Okay, Auntie Baba.
Yes, Ida. So even for me as an educator, I pray. I pray for God to give me the strength and to give my staff the strength and knowledge to be able to attend to every child, no matter their level of challenge. So that even the therapies that we are taking the children to will be able to see progress.
Yeah.
So it's not like we do magic. We still ask God for wisdom and understanding, because autism is a very wide spectrum. Sometimes they come and you're like, hey, this one too is part of it. You understand what I mean? And so we still pray as educators to be able to handle our children and ask God, who is a mighty healer, to be able to help the children through their struggles gradually so that we'll be able to even get results for for the parents and for the individuals who are on the spectrum.
So, yes, everyone believes in something. Everyone has faith in something. But that doesn't mean that one thing ran through all the conversations that the parents just shared. They all believe in God. They all have faith in God, but they are all taking steps to do something, not forgetting that the utmost power belongs to Jehovah, the one most high. He's the one who grants us that strength to be able to proceed. So we rely on him, but we take steps to support our kids also. It's not like we are praying that autism should go away. It doesn't work like that. But we pray for the strength to be able to go through whatever we are going through and to be able to support our kids. I see Eunice's hand up. I think there was an earlier hand. I have missed that individual. Please, you can put up your hand. But Eunice, please, you can unmute and share.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Eunice Turkson. I am the compliance coordinator for Richmond Public Schools in Virginia, USA. And I have been in this journey for about 20 years. This is my first time coming on this platform. I'm
Oh,
hearing a lot of interesting, conversation and comments. But most importantly, I just wanted to share that I believe it's all a mindset change when it comes to disability in general in Ghana. Because when a child has a disability, I mean, from Ghana's perspective, it's just unfortunate that because we don't understand what it's all about, we tend to make it a form of stigmatization, which is really hurting us. But if we really come to the understanding of what disability is all about, and that's, education and mindset change, it's really, really going to help all of us. Coming to the question regarding praying it away. I believe we also, as Christians, believe that the Almighty gives us what He thinks we can handle. And over here, it's not really more about praying it away, but about team effort. It's a team effort, and every individual child gets what we call individualized educational program. And for that, we use to support every child that goes through or that is experiencing some form of disability. And it seems like all we know is autism, autism. There are so many other disabilities out there. And with the IEP, which is the short form of individualized educational program, every child is as unique and is addressed. I mean, this is used to address every child's educational program, as well as other, areas of deficit they're experiencing. And that helps, I mean, it goes a very long way. And it's really uncommon to find people asking, questions to make parents, become maybe uncomfortable around, others. But I'm here. I am on the mental health advocacy platform, and I would love to communicate with one or two people to see how best I can support in this program. Thank you.
thank you too, Eunice, for joining the program. And yes, if today is your first time of being a part of our online webinars that we have, it's actually on the fourth Sunday of every month. Mission Pediatrics organizes this CSR program, so it helps others get to learn. In case you've missed any of them, we stream our programs through our social media channels. So you can go on Parents Roundtable on YouTube and you would have access to previous ones and current and the ones to come in future also. Our Facebook page also has our previous, well, it has some of our previous ones, but the YouTube channel has everything. So you can go there and enjoy yourself, feed yourself with things because we work with we discuss different topics in every month. So we've had from January till now, and we'll still have till the end of the year. So please get yourselves abreast with the things that we do, and you would get to also learn more. And we love to collaborate with people. We love to have collaborations with each and every one because we cannot do this form of advocacy by ourselves. We need all hands on deck. We need the support of each other to be able to progress. So yes, let's link up. You can send us a message or an email to info@missionpediatrics. Sorry, info@missionclinicgh.com, and we'll post our info email there. So if you have anything that you would want to, yes, thank you, Godfred. It's been shared over here. So info@missionclinicgh.com. Please send us the email, send us everything or anything, and then we'll get to discuss. And we would also add up our phone numbers so that you also get to reach us directly and we share ideas. Caroline, I'm so sorry to have kept you for so long. Please go on.
Not a problem at all. So I'm a speech and language therapist, but the most importantly for this program, I also have a child on the spectrum. And I've been smiling and laughing to myself as the parents speak, and I'm like, yeah, this one. We all wish that you could pray throughout the night and wake up in the morning and you see that sudden change that your son or daughter suddenly has, everything has gone away and there's that kind of peace, quiet, and calm that you so much desire. But then the morning comes and sometimes you're not even fortunate enough. The tantrums are worse than you actually went to bed with. And, it gets to the point where you feel that, man, maybe really there's no God out there. But we still need to pray. As has been rightly said, we need not only pray for our children, but ourselves as well. My boy is 15 years. And a few days ago, I was at the point of, I've had it. Whoever wants to have my son can have my son. I mean, I will gladly give away. You do not need to sign any adoption papers. I will gladly give that child away. It does get to that point sometimes. But Riley said we really need that prayer. We really need, whichever God you believe in, you really need to pray for that wisdom and that support to go through. Having said that, one of the things that I have realized over the past 15 years is that I'm first and foremost the parent. It's not the therapist, it's not the neuropediatrician, it's not the counselor, it's nobody but me. And that's where I believe it comes also with the acceptance of the situation. Because I know that sometimes when we bring ourselves to 100% acceptance, then the Christian self kicks in. Then it's like, then we are not believing God to be able to do something for our child. But I guess to be able to find the medication that will heal you is to be able to tell the doctor exactly what the problem is. And for us, somebody was asking, how do I let the other sibling in? I've come to realize that since I'm the parent, it means that I have to do a chunk of the job of parenting. It means that some of the things that I'm expecting my child, whether they are 6 years, whether they are 8 years, whether they are 15 years, some of the things that I'm expecting them to do and they are not being able to do, I have to add that onto my jobs. And adding that onto my jobs, it's not just me doing it, but you have to be able to know your child. Know when your child will comply. Know when your child will let you hold their hands. So it's abstract thinking sometimes you can't understand. So if you're expecting your older child to be able to wash their plates after they finished eating, they don't get it when you say, wash your plate after I finish eating. It doesn't make sense. They've not finished eating. But if they have finished eating and you're holding their hand with the plate in the sink, with the tap running, with the sponge, and you are, trying to encourage them, holding them, their hands, doing it together, it can be daunting. The whole floor will get wet. But after and over and over and over again, they do get it at a point. I have another child, and yes, it's been challenging over the years. Sometimes a sense of why does he get it all? But over time, we need to educate our families. We must remember that members of our families, having had special needs children like we have had, So of course, it's going to be very difficult for them to understand that your child has this magic and magic in quotes. But this is I'm giving you the normal way they think. Suddenly you have given birth and you say your child has this kind of magic condition, so your child can't do this, your child can't do. They just cannot identify, especially when it comes to the grandparents because they have had typically developing children. So they are expecting that you follow in their footsteps. You also have typically developing children. But it is also important, no matter how difficult it is, little by little, we need to create that awareness and that understanding. Because you see, it is our families who will also tell our stories, who will let somebody else know about it and let somebody else, somebody else, somebody else. Then the word is getting out that you can have a child and have these challenges and you need to reach out for help. So, as much as they don't get it, I've come to realize that we need to find subtle ways of explaining to them. Sometimes you actually drop the name. The doctor says it's called autism. You know, they may not understand, but it sticks in the head. And then we are going along. It's a difficult task. It's a difficult route. But I know that when we keep on pressing, when we keep on trying to let our families understand what is going on, the kids will grow and we will need more support and understanding. When they are younger, you can keep them away from family gatherings for so long. But we need to get our families on board. So as our children gets older, they can also lend a hand of support. Um, I hope I've not spoken too much. Thank
So
you, Madam
today
Moyo.
I did mention that today is special. And yes, we are all seeing it that today is special. Yes, it's a special edition because we would want parents to share. We would want you to get to learn from others. We would want you to know that you are not alone on this journey. There are others who are also a part of it. That's why, as part of it, we are also helping people to get to learn. So I see that some people have certain questions, and in doing the advocacy, it's also right to help people, especially those who are new to what the autism spectrum disorder is, get to understand. So I'm going to do a little bit of chipping in as and when. So in understanding what ASD is, it is a developmental disability. And yes, you were hearing neurotypical and then the neurodiverse. So having a child whose brain function is not the same as all the others. So what you regularly see with every single child, this child's brain development is different. And when it is different, differences in what and in how. It's just telling you that this child has challenges in communication, in terms of social communication and interaction. Remember when one of the parents were sharing the ideas or how they got to learn. One was saying that the nurse had to go behind, call, and the child doesn't what respond to it. Okay, so then you may see signs of the child lacks that eye-to-eye contact. Probably you may call the child's name, even at maybe 9 months, where you know that when you call the child would respond to you. Probably you would smile, and then the child would also smile at you. Yes, you see some 4 months old babies smiling and all that when you smile to them. But this one doesn't show facial expression. Whether the child is happy, sad, surprised, there's none that is being shown. And even in trying to have a few gestures and all that, it's not coming. There are also issues in terms of repetitive behaviors. There are issues in terms of interactions and play and all that. You may say something and the child would continuously repeat, whether in words or in phrases. It's over and over. That's what we call the echolalia. There's also one where you'd see a child who may be lining up things, has an obsession to certain things and all that. Yes, please, if you are seeing such signs, if there's a delay in speech, you remember when the parents were talking, they were saying that they they were at first, oh, the child will talk later. So yeah, the child is a boy, he would delay in talking. Oh, children, they may be hyperactive, they may be impulsive, they may do this, they may do that. But please, whenever you realize or you feel that something is not right, seek for help. That's the first thing we would encourage all parents to do. Please seek for help. Go see your pediatricians. Let them help you to get the proper diagnosis and support mechanisms that the need may be. Okay, so now parents have shared. So now we are delving into what are the parents doing to support their kids. Then we'll come to Auntie Baba to share from the educational standpoint as to how she's able to support. So in Hope Setters, they run a center that has, remember Auntie Baba was saying that parents will come and then they see older kids and they are like, hey, so it's not something that we can pray it away. I'm here for, I beg you.
Okay, so after we went through all that, and then now I know that this is my journey that I have to do. We did a lot of therapies. So we started with behavior therapy. Then we went off behavior. We got him a therapist in his school to support him. But he wasn't consistent. And you know that on this journey, consistency is very key. So with time, when Marvin started bringing out speech, the therapist wasn't available to even tell us what to do. So we had to let him go. So I realized that I was focusing more on what the therapists were saying and doing. Then it got to a time that I wasn't having any therapy or therapist in the life of my son. That was when I realized that no, as a parent, I have to sit up and do something for my child. So that was when the learning began. I'll read and read and read till dawn and read. I read a lot about the disorder. And then I watched other parents also who has been on the journey. I'm just started, and there has been parents ahead of me. So I rather watch them, listen to them. What are they doing? I'll watch Auntie Mary. I'll watch NDA. I'll watch. When I know that you are a parent on the journey, I'll watch you. I'll listen to what you are doing. So with time, I had learned so much about it. So I started doing a home therapy myself. All that I've learned, okay, I'll get the therapist to support. But for now that I don't have a therapist, let me do it. I became a therapist myself. Speech, I will do. OT, I will do. Behavior, I will do. I had done the basics, I've read the basics. You know, when you read, you see the therapist, it goes advanced. But as a parent, you have some basics that at least you can do. So I started doing that. And then with time, I realized that he was improving. Then I said, is it only therapy that I can do? No. Then I started looking out for other things that I will do, natural ways, alternative ways. That's how I put my research, my search, alternative ways, natural ways. Apart from therapy, what can you do? Then I read that if you want to get the most out of therapy, your child has to go through certain things so that when he is in session, he will enjoy the therapy session. So I started doing lifestyle changes for him. I started doing nutrition for him. I'll read and change. I'll read that you have to change his toothbrush. Then I'll go and buy a new toothbrush paste. Then whatever I read. So because they are not the same, every parent's own is different from what you will do. So I'll read and go and try. If it works, then I'll take it. This one worked. If it didn't work out, then I'll leave it and pick another one. So with time, I got what works for him after going through all that. So currently, what I'm doing to support him is therapy. We do therapy in school. We have OT coming in school. We have speech also coming in school. I read that animals are also good. So I'm trying to get him an animal that he can work with. Then I read about the lifestyle changes. So everything about what he eats, food is medicine. So whatever he eats affects his body. So I made sure that whatever goes into his body, it is what I want him to. So with a sibling, his brother actually helped me. When I started, what you don't want him to take, that is what the brother will give him. Food sharing is caring. That's what he will say. Then I'll tell him that no, this is not good for your brother. This is good for you. You can take this. But as for your brother, when he eats it, he will get sick more. Then you come, mommy, is it good for him? I'll say yes. So I work with the lifestyle changes and the diet with his brother so that with time he was able to differentiate what he can eat. I can have bread, for instance, on the table. We will all eat it and he wouldn't go and touch it because he knows that it is not good for his body. So that has been what we have been doing: therapy, nutrition, and then lifestyle changes. That is what we have been doing so far.
So that is what is working out for you on this journey, and that is what you are implementing. I
Yes.
like what you said, that it's everyone is different. It's a spectrum. So yes, it's you won't get the same thing. What will work for you doesn't necessarily mean it would work for another person. But then, we all try to find out what would best suit our child. Good. So do we go to Auntie Baba or we go to Jacinta? Can I do the bluebird thing? No. Let me go to Jacinta. So no, I've been going to parents before. Auntie Baba,
Yes, like that.
please tell us, from an educator's point of view, what do you think helps? Or in a way, is therapy good? Is it helpful?
Yes, thank you. So therapy is good, therapy is helpful. And as much as parents support us is equally helpful. What happens is that these giving intervention to these children needs consistency. And so for me, if the child is going to school for therapy and there's consistency, we are going to get results. For what Ifua was saying, she was consistent. She was intentional about everything. And so she got her results. But will every parent have that time that Ifua had? Would every parent have that opportunity to be able to try things like Ifua did? And also, where is the child on the spectrum? Or what kind of special needs are we talking about? And so it's whatever it is very, very important that we give therapies to these children. Some of them do well. We have a lot of success stories to share. And then others who have not had any support at home and been at home and not getting any support from home too, you're able to tell from behavior and everything that they are lacking behind. And so therapy is very, very, very important. And it has to be consistent. You can't just do one week, 6 months, and leave it and think that, oh, this thing is not working. No, you have to be very, very consistent to get the smallest of progress. So it is very important.
Okay, so therapy is key. It's crucial that we get support for our children. So let me ask, Jacinta, what are you doing to support your child?
Um, hmm. Okay, so for me, I think after our um, official diagnosis, if I may say, we started a few therapy sessions with Mission Pediatrics. We did speech, we did occupational therapy, we did behavior therapy as well. But we couldn't continue the way we should have, which I would have to acknowledge that. But then um, I didn't just sit down and do nothing about it. I do my own research as well to see how best I can also support him at home and also in school. So one thing I have realized in this journey is that when you have that support system, especially when it comes to financially, because all these things, all these therapy sessions and all that are money. You you need money to be able to access them. So for me as a single parent, that has been a bit of a challenge. But then I haven't just sat around. I do my own research and then I read a lot. I hop onto any Zoom session or any training I hear about to try and see what I can learn from it and what I can use to the benefits for my son. Um, my son currently is in a mainstream school, and so I, I get in there like almost all the time. I try to find out what my son is doing in class, what can I do to help. It's like I'm always on their case, on the school's case. They don't ask me a lot of questions. I do most of the asking, I do most of the suggesting. I try to find out trainings available and then suggesting it to them to see how best they can help. I ask them about my son is going to the next class. What are we going to do? How can we collaborate and all that? And I think it has helped in a way. I believe it could have been better, but with our current situation, we are just hanging in there and we are hoping for the best. But the therapy, I must say, it's very key if you have to be on this journey and do well. It's very key.
Thank you. So one thing I have gathered from all the parents, and one thing I also know is that for you, Jacinta, whenever your child moves to another class during paid for webinars, you enroll them as a parent on your own. You enroll the teacher of the class
Yes.
in which your child is in, so the teacher also gets to learn. So, no matter where you may find yourself, having support is crucial. Going for therapies are very, very necessary. But then you don't just go for therapy and leave the job for the therapist. As all parents have said, you can't just leave your child, or you take your child to school and then that's the end. The child comes back home. You don't support the child in homework. You don't do anything for the child. You just leave the child hoping, praying, wishing, and all that the child will just thrive. Rather, you are involved in the journey. So please, let's all make it a point to be involved in our kids, the lives of our kids. Sometimes some parents get to even have, just as if I was saying, she gives support to the child in the school because she may not have the time to be going back and forth like that with the child. So yes, there are sessions where it's held at school. There are sessions where the child comes over to the facility or the center. And there are also sessions where the therapist, sometimes it happens online. So every aspect is important. Every aspect is crucial. So please let's bear that in mind. And parents, learn. You may try this, it will work. After some time, it will not work. That doesn't mean that is the end. Let's keep trying various ways in which we can find that help to be able to help the children wherever the need may arise. Okay, so Eunice said something that's parental involvement. It's great. And she's happy for that. Yes, we are proud of our parents. So all you parents on the call, all you who are listening to us, viewing in whichever way or form, keep it up. Keep giving the support that the child needs. Let's find the best way to support and help our kids. It's very, very crucial. And Ophelia is saying that my child has therapy 3 times a week. That's a lot. And she's in school and she has an IEP in place. And the school has made accommodations for her sensory needs. And she's learning under the wings of the therapist. Please, whenever a child goes for support with a therapist, they are willing and they are able to help you know what to do in the house with your child also. So it doesn't become just that few minutes or an hour or whichever time the child spends with a therapist. Let them help you know what they are doing and what you need to do as a parent to be able to support your ward. Okay. So from an educator's point of view, Auntie Baba has made us understand that it is crucial that we get support for them. Auntie Baba, what forms of support do you think a child may need? Yes, every child is different. So, but what are some of the support systems that the child would need?
Okay, so thank you, Ida. It differs. So what happens is that as hope setters, when a child comes in, we do an in-house assessment to know where the child is on every level in terms of academics, in terms of speech and language, communication, in terms of occupational therapy, vocational skills, everything, cognitive skills and everything. We assess the child on all these levels. And then we do an IEP, an individualized educational plan, because every child on the spectrum is different. And so we do an IEP, and then we are able to support the child daily. We get we set targets. Then the facilitators in the classroom work with the child every day, Monday through to Friday. Every 30 minutes, the child gets the change of a session. So, like maybe the first 30 minutes, they are doing numeracy. There are so many things that comes to play in a day for a child at Hope Setters. So gradually, we realize that we are going through the targets that have been set. Then we review it with a therapist and see, do we have to drop it down a bit, or take it up a bit because of the outcome. We are able to monitor the progress of our students. And so every aspect, we do intentional social skills. Intentional. So understand that when you come to the classroom, there's a time that it has to be, hello time. That's intentional social skills that we are doing right there, trying to skills. It's a holistic thing that we are doing, support that we are giving, or intervention that we are giving to the individual who is at the center. And so we take the children to every day, Monday through to Friday.
Nice, that's good. So I know lots of some were asking about diets, food diets, what to do, how to do it. I'm gonna put someone on the spot. Yes, she's a dietitian and she knows herself. She knows I'm gonna call her because I've said I'm gonna put her on the spot. Rosie.
Hi, Ida. Good evening, everyone.
Please help us understand dieting. And yes, Rosie, would you like to share a bit about your experience? And you can go ahead and
Okay, hello, everyone. My name is Rosie. I'm a registered dietitian, and I also have a 10-year-old girl with ASD on the spectrum. And I can relate to all the parents over here, and every child every child is very different, but there are a few things that should be fundamental with regards to diet, okay? Now, how well nourished is the child? It's advisable to ensure, first of all, that our children are eating whole foods. So foods, think of in simplicity how our grandparents used to eat. less additives, fresh foods, our kontomire, okro, banku, fufu, kenke, and it would, it's interesting to know that kenke, for example, fancy kenke has probiotics because it's fermented, and if your child doesn't eat yogurt and has fancy kinky, you have a good amount of probiotics. So fresh things as much as possible with less additives, okay? And also, it's advisable to ensure that you cut out added sugars. What are added sugars? So fruits are sweet, yes, but as much as possible, drinks, they call them fruit juices, but they're truly not fruit juices because they've added sugar to them. Now, children with ADHD already have so much energy, and then you don't want excessive energy from coming from these sugars because they just spike your insulin level, and then the children are on overdrive. I'm sure all of us have experienced it before when maybe you gave your child a fizzy drink or something, and then you realize that it was difficult to actually control them. So as much as possible, healthy alternatives, our own smoothies, let them eat their fruits. It's actually better for them to eat their fruits as opposed to even have it blended. But then if they don't like to eat their fruits, then it should be blended. Another thing is your probiotics. I talked about what's it called? Kinky yogurt. There's kefir. It's fermented foods. Now AI is there, so we have no excuse whatsoever. Why am I talking about probiotics? Because our guts, like it or not, our guts and our brains are so connected. And when your gut is happy, your mind is happy. Either, for example, if right now, excuse me to say, you had a tummy upset, you won't be here smiling and focusing because
Oh,
you'll be so disturbed. And about 70 to 90% of our kids have gut issues. Some of them are overt because they show or reflect maybe as rashes, and some people have skin issues, some are bloated, but some kids don't show any form of overt gut issues, but it shows in their behavior. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about the guts because I don't feel like we do justice to it. So if you give me a bit of like 5 to 10 minutes, okay, 5 minutes.
Rosie, please go ahead.
Yeah, so
Free
like I was
consultation, so
saying,
yeah.
yes. So let's all imagine our gut right now. Okay, our gut is made up of millions and millions of microorganisms. Now, these microorganisms, they do so much to the body. Okay, they produce, when you eat either probiotics to make them happy or prebiotics. Prebiotics are found in fiber. There's fiber in whole foods, from yam to oats. All fruits, vegetables have fiber in them. Now they feed these probiotics. Now, when these probiotics are happy, they release certain things called neuro transmitters like serotonin. Serotonin is the happy hormone. Dopamine, it keeps you calm and steady. But if you have a gut that is not being fed with the right amount of fiber, the right amount of nutrients, and a situation or an issue called leaky gut occurs, what happens is the body is not able to process these foods that you are eating, and then it leaks into the system, and then the body sees it as foreign. And some of them travel all the way to the brain and mimic. There's this form of mimicry. So it's as if your child has taken an opioid, and then the child starts acting erratic. So it's important to ensure that our gut is fed well. Now, some kids on the spectrum have leaky gut. How do you address leaky guts? Leaky guts just mean, just like what I explained, that literally your gut is leaking because certain bonds have been broken due to certain food sensitivities, and most of them are related to gluten and casein. So gluten it's just the protein found in wheat, okay, and in rye and barley. We don't really have rye and barley in Ghana, so I'll focus on wheat. Now, some kids do not process them well, and unfortunately, it causes irritation in the gut, and then it can affect when it leaks out, it has this mimicry effect. So that's why you've heard of gluten-free, casein-free. Casein is the protein in milk. Now, it's not for all children. There's no one diet that fits all. But there's no harm as a parent to also do an elimination diet. What does that mean? This week, maybe we'll say this week, we are not doing anything with wheat. Okay, so this week, when you do it one, this week we're not doing anything with wheat. Let's see. Then you write it down. Let's see if it affects the child's behavior. Touch the stomach maybe an hour or two after the child has eaten. Does the child feel bloated? Does the skin of the child feel clearer? Is the child calmer? You don't have to wait and do all these what's it called? The labs, the bio labs, they are quite expensive. Yes, it's good to do them, but you as a parent, you are your child's doctor, first of all. Do you understand? Because you have first-hand experience. You can try this at home and do elimination. So you find replacements. I mean, you don't always have to have bread. You can have all sorts of cereals. There's fonio, there's millet, there's sorghum. We are blessed with so many options, and try it out. And then if you feel or you see from your assessment that, oh, truly after a week or two, I didn't see any overt changes, okay, then you can start with casein. You take out milk products and you can replace them with coconut milk, there's cashew milk. I don't subscribe to the boxed almond milk and all those things, because most of them, they are just fillers. If you have someone who can make natural sources, it's better off. And then you see how your child reacts to it. And then last but not the least, omega 3, either in the form of supplements. I know Dr. Marilyn always advises that we give our kids omega 3 supplements, but we have lovely fishes from the sea. We have mackerel. We call them salmon. Yes, we have red fish, all the fishes from the sea. If we inculcate them into our diets 2 to 3 times a week, for those who are picky eaters, you can use the dried fish and add them to your diet. It will improve your omega 3, and also eggs. Improve your omega 3 and fish oil. It improves brain function, and also vitamin D. Let's let them get sunlight. It's free, first of all. And then if you want to do supplements, that's fine, but the natural options are also there. So yes, that's about it, Ida. Thank you.
I know I push you on the spot, pardon me, but having you here and having the talk about diets and all that, definitely. I knew that you needed to share something. So thank you for sharing with us, Rosie. And she's given
Oh,
us
my
so
pleasure. My pleasure.
okay. So yes, all the talk about foods and all that, Rosie has helped us understand. And I remember one thing Rosie says, the rainbow. It's
Yes. Eat like the rainbow.
exactly. So we should keep eating like the rainbow. You see all the colors. Inculcate that into your meals that you have. All right. So Martha was asking a question concerning school and being in school, as to whether it is necessary for a child on the spectrum to be in school the whole day. Auntie Baba, from your standpoint, what would you say?
Um, it depends because see, the kind of structure that we have, like I was explaining earlier, we are not just doing academics and all the other therapies, but we're also pushing for social skills. Now we have that structure because of the kind of parents that we have. We have parents that have to go to work early in the morning and close around 5, 6. Some of these children are not children that you can just leave in the house to be in the house all by themselves. There has to be somebody at home to take care of them. And so we have planned our program in a way that even when therapy sessions are over, they are still at the center, playing, socializing, so they are picked up when school closes. And so if they are in school, it doesn't mean they are in the classroom rigidly. But then even if it's a play that they are playing, you know that it's structured, it is monitored, and we are intentional.
Exactly. So then that's one thing that we would keep in mind
If the
that,
parent,
oh, I'm sorry, Auntie Baba, please go on.
so if the parent has time and decides that, oh, okay, maybe my child will come to the school, because we have some of our students who do mainstream school some days in the week and also come to the center for therapy some days in the week. And so you can decide that my child will come for these hours, maybe up to 12. But you see, 12 lunchtime, the child is eating. We are helping the child, those who have to be fed, who have to be taught how to feed themselves. We are working on that. We are working on how you finish eating, you are washing your plate. So throughout the time that they are in school, there's something very important that they need that we are giving them. So it's not just something that is beneficial to them. That is what happens at home. That's it.
Okay, so to add up to what Auntie Baba has just said, with an IEP for a child, it details what the child would need. So if it's been given as to the child needs these things, and let's say there are times when the child would also need to go for support, be it in school support or out of school support. It's a discussion that the school has with the parents and then the therapist and all that, or the facilities giving those support. So one thing we bear in mind is that, yes, we are helping our learner or our child learn how to live in a structured setting. Let me put it in that sense, for want of a better word. But in helping that child to get to have that form of structure, we are considering the diverse things that the child needs, and we plan for that child. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the child may stay in a mainstream school or in a center for the whole day. But how well are we making the various activities that a child finds him or herself around? How is it engaging for that child? How is it interesting for that individual? Is a child being forced to live or to be in that setting of that rigidity, or the child has the flexibility to be able to adapt and learn? That is our goal. So yes, just as other parents have also mentioned, this is something that we also need to keep in mind. And aside all that, please, I am agreeing with I see Ontario CEC mention consistency, which is key. So please, whatever we do, let's be consistent with it. Let's make sure that the child learns a structure, learns the timings, learns to do what they need to do as and when. And yes, it's not a one-time something. Sometimes it would take long. We would have to do it over and over and over and over and over. But in the end, we keep doing and giving of our best. I see Nanekia is here. And since we are talking about ASD, today I'm putting people on the spot. Nanekia, it's been a while. Oh. This one, I just want to greet you. And I just want to ask that, would you want to share something for today?
Well, you have put me on the spot, Ida.
Sorry about that, okay.
That's okay. Yeah, it's kind of going in and out. No, it's been an interesting discussion, and I think there's a lot that's been said that is what it is. There's something that I think Barbara shared from an educator's perspective, and I think even from parents as well. And I know that that's one of the things that the research, I think I read this by this Autism Speaks, and it's about consistency. Whatever you're doing for particularly children, a child with autism, consistency is crucial. And consistency brings about quite a few other things, because if you're consistent and structured, consistency is important. Structure is important. And facilitators, consistency involves not just what you're doing with the person, with the child with the autism, but also with the people supporting you. So, parents are with the child. So if the parents with the child is quite consistent what they're doing, and then the child is also building trust, and it is helping them to be able to develop, being able to trust the person and being able to learn from that person. So there's consistency not just in one thing in what you're doing, but also in the building of the trust and ensuring that trust makes it easier for you to learn from somebody. And then there's the structure, which is consistency, which is also an aspect of being consistent. So these things, it says, are very important. And also consistency with the individual people. So, when you have centers and you have people who come in and go out, if if you have a center that's got a quick turnover of staff or people who are not consistent, it's very important that we learn to do something about it. So these are some of the things that they have spoken about, and it's very good. And I think the other aspect, there was another dimension, I call it the fourth dimension, which is the spiritual dimension. And this, it's important to recognize where parents are at with whatever they present. So whatever a parent comes and presents anything, that is what you work with, and you work with them. And yes, I have heard testimonies. People give testimonies like of miracles happening with them and their children. I haven't heard lots and lots and lots, but I've heard some of the child being diagnosed with autism, and then the child eventually miraculously being healed. So it can happen, and I think some people have experienced it. So there's a lot, and all these things. I'm happy that we didn't leave out that dimension, and that even though all parents are involved in that bit as well, they are also looking at all the other different areas and ensuring that they are providing a holistic approach, and that's, I guess, for many parents, will work better for them. Yeah, but I think what has been discussed today sounds really interesting and very, very educative. And I think we all need to pick something from it and apply in our areas of work. Yes, it's been a good discussion. Thank you, Ida.
Thank you, Nanekia. Although I put you on the spot, you didn't leave me hanging. Thank you so much. So Nanekia is actually one of the pioneers of speech and language here in Ghana. And she has a center that supports kids who are on the spectrum. She does a lot and a lot in terms of speech and language. Yes, you can find her center. Nanekia, please correct me. There's one at Hachu, right?
Yeah, Hachu and Dansuman.
Ah, yes, in Hachu and Dansuman. Awawa too. Thanks, Doc. Doc has given me the name. Awawa too. Yes, that is the place. So she knows what she's saying. Today, I am glad I'm having all these people on board. Yes, Bernard Opong, please, you have the floor. You can share with us. So, Mr. Bernard
Contribute to this.
Opong.
Yes. Hello. Thank you, and thank you for all those insights. I mean, I've learned a lot, and I also do know the kids get better. My question is really based on, especially when you see the kids getting better and the joy you see in the kids getting better for yourself and for the child. You seem to somehow lose focus. Sometimes it's unconscious, subconscious. You lose focus on discipline, right? So you begin to do almost anything they ask, right? So your son will say, "Oh, I want to do this. I don't want this bicycle. I want that bicycle." You just buy it without thought. Like subconsciously, you are just enjoying the moments they're going through, but you are leaving track of the disciplinary aspect. I think that's one of the biggest problems I'm having with my child right now, especially when you live alone and you don't have like a second eye advising you, telling you, "Oh, this is not right, this is not right." You seem not to see it. My question is to all the parents: how do you get around with discipline, right? So making sure you are teaching them the right things in as much as they have deficit and you are helping them, you are still enforcing discipline and stuff like that. How do you not lose focus, or do you not lose track of that? Thank you.
Okay. I know that last 2 years during the Autism and Special Needs Conference in November, Mr. Opon, you were one of the people that talked about the Hope Special Fund, right?
Yes.
Good. Would you like to enlighten us on it? Before we seek answers to your
Help me with my problem first. I think maybe Jacinta and Dr. Marble can speak good to it. So for me, being an autistic father and helping my son, you also come across a lot of people, and especially in Ghana, almost everyone you come across that it's parenting a child on the spectrum has issues. I think most of the parents here probably will not have as much financial problems as majority of the parents out there, right? The parents that are actually in need of financial help probably will not even be able to join this call. They probably don't even know how to join such calls for such information. And you constantly are somehow seeking for funds to help them and so on. So Hope Fund is really like a concept that a group of parents and professionals, including Dr. Mabel Jacinta is also on board, and a group of other ladies. Basically, we are building and developing a platform where we are going to take advantage of source crowdfunding and crowdsource funding. Because one thing you see is whenever you raise an issue of needing help for a special need, people are always willing to help. You just need to tell a friend, "Oh, I have this parent that needs help," and they are always willing to help. The problem, however, has been how to formalize it and make it easier for people to help parents. So what we are planning to do is simply a platform where number one is going to collect data on all social special needs kids we have in the country and probably hopefully across the continent, just to get proper statistics on them, their geographical distributions and so on. That's the first objective. Then after that, the profiles you collect on them, you make them publicly available, and we provide a platform where anyone that wants to support the parents and the children can easily go on and donate. It can be one city, but we are making the donation so simple in a way that you can just donate via mobile money, donate via credit card, donate via any form of payment that you want. And then they can set up a recurring payment system. So you can say you want to give this child 2 cedis every month. And automatically the system will take the 2 cedis out of your mobile money wallet or your bank account, deposit it into a pool, and basically we're going to use this funding to help the parents and the children get some of these resources and help that we are discussing. So that is the platform that we are working on. It's still coming soon, but at this point, I think it's coming very soon. So let's look forward to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bernard. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
need an answer to my question now.
Oh, yes, please. So I'm throwing it to my panelists to help us.
Ida, let me say something about this. So, with these children of ours, in fact, these special children of ours, I think they are smart kids, and sometimes they take advantage of us as parents as well. And so, in as much as they have issues that genuinely they need help with, I think that in raising mine, I have always made him understand that I won't bend certain things for you when I know it's not good for you. So, with my son, for example, he knows there are certain things he cannot do. it doesn't matter what is wrong with you currently. Yes, you need support in that area. But then when it comes to issues of discipline, if it is if you don't have to turn on the TV, you don't have to turn it on. It doesn't matter how much you want to cry and lie on the floor and roll and do whatever, you would not turn on the TV. That is the rule, and you have to go by it. And I think as parents, we need to firm it up. Let's not get emotional when they start throwing tantrums, because they think when they do that, they would get you to bend the rules over. So if it is the rule you have set at home, or if it is a house policy for everybody, let it apply irrespective of who the person is. Well, I'm just one person. I live with just my son. But for other parents who have other children as well, if it's a rule, let the children understand that it's a rule at home and everybody must abide by it. So that you don't make exceptions for them, they would take advantage of you in the process, because they know you are also vulnerable when it comes to them. So sometimes they tend to do certain things in a way that would get you to not probably want to say anything. And they are growing too as well. If you don't tame them now, you will not be able to do it in the future. So I think Bernard's concern, it's something that we need to look at as parents, and also try to enforce the discipline in our kids so they don't go out of line. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacinta. I see Dr. Mabel's hand is up. Doctor,
Hi. Yeah. So I wanted to help answer the question. Um, so for me, what I usually advise is that, so first of all, your child who has autism is first your child. Okay. And yes, autism, even though it permeates every aspect of your your child's life, your child is still first your son or your daughter. And so think of it that way. However, I do agree that it is dicey and it's not as simple as your daughter or your son who is neurotypical. So the principle I would advise is that first think of this. This is my son, this is my daughter. Is this good? Is this bad? Am I using positive discipline? And what are the principles I want to inculcate in this son of mine or in this daughter of mine? Be intentional, think about it, set the boundaries before the things happen. Do not react to it. So if you haven't made a rule that um, do not watch, do not take my phone, and you haven't made that clear, don't react when the phone is taken and hey, no, no, I'm using it, and then there's a tantrum. Let your rules and your expectations be known. However, if you do have a child on the spectrum and you put the rules for all the children, sometimes you have to stop and think, is this reaction from my son due to a sensory overload? Is it due to the fact that he cannot take the noise in this room? Is it due to the fact that he cannot communicate? And then you may have to be flexible about your consequences and what your expectations are. There's no simple rule book about it. But first principle, your son is your son. You have to set the boundaries. You have to put in the whatever it is, the positive discipline that you're putting in for the other members of the family. But always have a second step to decide, is this behavior due to him just being a child, or is it due to some difficulty related to autism? Then you can decide how to proceed. I hope that is helpful.
Okay, thanks, Doc. Our time. Ifya, please, the last, no, not the last but one comment, and then I get to put Auntie Sarah on the spot for probably 2 minutes. Ifya, please go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone, and thank you, Auntie Baba, for inviting me on here. I've really enjoyed everyone's contribution. I'll just say, like, it all centralizes to the feedback between, the teacher and the other professionals in the multidisciplinary team to ensure that parents have adequate information, and the child is the center of everything that is being put on the table, whether the child is nonverbal or the child is verbal. The interest of the child is very important. So I think everyone's contribution has been recognized, and I would just say, like, parents, keep going on, and as educators we are right behind you and we'll do everything we can to support. So just an encouragement.
Exactly. So just as Nanekia has written in the chat box saying that having rules and maintaining them is part of the structure, and consistency. Consistency. So it's not just about stating the rules, laying it bare, but please follow through with it. Help the children understand, because kids are smart. Whether they are neurotypical or they are neurodiverse, they are very smart, and they always try to find the little loopholes in there. And when they find it, they would use it against you. So please, let's ensure that we are making the rules, but we are sticking to them as parents or as caregivers. Auntie Baba, I wanted to say something before I put Auntie Sewa on the spot.
Yes, yes. So Ida, talking about consistency, I'm sure my bosses who have centers would also testify to that. That sometimes these children come to the centers. There are some things they don't want to do from the day one. But as we continue encouraging them and making sure that we try to get them to do it every day, they just go with the flow. Like we have in the morning, we have picture signing time. Sometimes when the children come in, they don't want to touch it at all. But it's interesting to watch them after a while because we've been consistent with it. They come and automatically they want to sign in, and after school they want to sign out. It's just amazing. And it tells you that even if we've not been able to do anything with your child at all, we have gotten your child to follow that kind of routine, which we all know that our children with on the autism spectrum thrive very well when it comes to consistency and going by it, bam, 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 every day. You don't relent at all. So I just wanted to chip in that. So now my boss answers the wife talking about. Yeah, I have my boss here.
Exactly. Auntie Sewa.
Hello.
Yes,
Good
Auntie
evening.
Sewa.
I trust you to put people on the spot, Ida. Unfortunately, I joined rather late, but from everything I've been hearing, it's about right. And I keep hearing consistency, consistency, consistency. Because if we deviate from, you know, I've also heard people saying these children are smart. Yes, they are. So we just can't give in to them. You just cannot give in to them. Because they will get you. And I was walking when you called, so excuse my breathing. And then something I was going to say, but I think Dr. Marble covered it beautifully. We have to remember that there are sensory issues that really get into problems with children with autism and adults. So if we can learn what their sensory needs are, their communication needs are, and then we'll understand that that's what causes the behavior. Because all behavior is some kind of communication. So it's important that parents get to know and that they get training. I really talk about this. Parent training is important. It's important to talk to the heads of schools, centers, and try and get involved to learn how to really work with your child with autism at home. And anytime you can get somebody to your home to see how the setup is and to help you manage, I think it's very good. So it's the consistency, the structure, you learning about their different sensory needs, communication needs. It will really help you. Because if you don't, the behaviors are going to show up. And sometimes out of the blue, you don't know. These children change on you. They change because sometimes, oh, but he hasn't done this before. But it happens. Even behaviors that has long gone, sometimes they revisit this. So you have to again be consistent. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Auntie Sewa. Today I have put people on the spot and they didn't disappoint me. I'm so happy. Okay. So all too soon, we've spent 2 hours. Yes, we have spent 2 good hours now. And we will have to end at a point. I would like to say a very big thank you. And I'm going to borrow something Selassie said as to the children needing the tough love. Sometimes we need to be a bit tough with them. And just as all my big people have spoken and shared their ideas and concerns, please, their comments and all that, let's all learn from it. Let's apply it. Yes, we need to show them the love. Yes, they will throw the tantrum. Yes, they will do anything and everything to get away with it. Even neurotypical children do that. So how much more a neurodiverse child who may be undergoing something at a particular point in time that we have no idea of? That is where it is crucial that we ensure we look out for what exactly the child is facing, what challenges the child encountering, how best can we assist that child, and what are some of the things we can do. Yes, we've learned a lot about changes, about diets, about schedules, about disciplining our kids, and all this and all that. I am grateful that you all made the time to join us today. We appreciate you being here. The recording is going to be on our YouTube Parent Roundtable channel. You can access it, you can share it to parents, you can share it to anyone. And please keep revisiting these things. Let's keep learning, let's keep taking things out of it. I am glad that today's special edition, it wasn't our usual style, and you all helped us to be able to make it a success. Thank you all for being a part of it. Thank you for coming to share your thoughts, your opinions, and all that with us. And do remember that on the fourth Sunday of every month, per our schedule for the year, fourth Sunday. It's only in the month of August where we tend to have our special education webinar that wouldn't have the lecture, either the public lecture or the parents roundtable. But please do make it a point to join us, because next month also it's going to be awesome. It's also about our mental health and all that. Yes, we had one with well-being earlier. Our psychiatry team is going to help us understand a whole lot more. So please do tell someone, do share with others. The name of our YouTube channel is Parents Round Table. Parents Round Table. So you go to YouTube, you type Parents Round Table, and you would get to see Mission Pediatrics logo. That's our page. You would have access to all of it, everything. I am so happy everyone chipped in, everyone shared, those who listened. Thank you all for making it. Our facilitators, our lead facilitators, our parents, please, our educator, and we had educators supporting. I'm grateful. Auntie Baba, thank you.
Yes, like that.
Mami
Awesome.
Efua,
I wish we could go on and on and on and on.
oh, you see, oh, by the time is also the other challenge. Mami Efua, thank you. Jacinta.
You're welcome, Linda.
Thanks a lot. So thank
You're
you all.
welcome.
And we'll be hoping to see you next month as we gear on to do more. And for tomorrow, yes, on your screen, you see it. Our boss. Yeah. I see you. She doesn't like that, but this one I'm doing it because she can't say I should stop. So yes, Dr. Marilyn Marble Wilson will be joining other experts as they talk about how to break barriers in creating an inclusive classroom for all. Yes, our neurodiverse learners need to have diversity in terms of everything. But how do we break that barrier that we currently have? What are some of the things that we can do? Please join tomorrow as we take a listen with Dr. Marbel Wilson and the other panelists as they share ideas. They help us learn more. Please do tell a friend to tell a friend to join and listen in, tune in to CTFM tomorrow at 9 a.m. so that we get to learn more. And please, before I forget, earlier when we started the show, we did mention about our priority booking, right? So this is something new that we are helping everyone to have access to, especially for those on our social media community page. We are giving you, or we've shared links, a link actually, that takes you to book a session with us, any of our services that we have at Mission Pediatrics, and you get to have a discount for it. So if I were you, I would have signed up already. Yes, thank you, Godfred. So it's been posted. The link has been posted. That's the last one we have in there. Kindly copy it and make use of it. You can help others also get to learn more and also enjoy the discount. Thank you for being here. Have a good evening and enjoy the rest of the week or the upcoming week. Good night.